Part 1. A poor boy with a big dream. In a small village in Japan, on November 17, 1906, a boy named Soichiro Honda was born into a poor family. His father repaired bicycles, while his mother worked as a weaver. They lived a simple life and had very little money. As a child, Soichiro was different from other boys. He was not interested in becoming a farmer like many people in his village. Instead, he loved machines. Every time he heard the sound of an engine, he would stop whatever he was doing and run toward it. One day, a car passed through his village. At that time, cars were extremely rare in Japan. The young boy chased the car until he could no longer run. He stood beside the road, staring at the tire tracks left in the dirt. He knelt down and touched the oil that had dripped onto the ground. To many people, it was just dirty oil, but to Soichiro, it smelled like the future. At that moment, he silently promised himself that one day he would build machines that people around the world would admire. School was never his favorite place. He struggled with traditional subjects and often received poor grades. Some teachers believed he would never become successful. His classmates laughed at him because he spent more time fixing broken bicycles than studying textbooks. But Soichiro never let their words discourage him. He believed that real learning came from experience. When he was only 15 years old, he made one of the biggest decisions of his life. He left his family and moved alone to Tokyo, one of the largest cities in Japan, hoping to find work. Life in Tokyo was far from easy. He found a job at a small automobile repair shop. During the first months, he was given only simple tasks such as cleaning the floor, washing cars, and serving customers. Many people would have quit after doing such boring work, but Soichiro paid close attention to everything happening inside the workshop. Whenever mechanics repaired engines, he carefully watched every movement. After work, while others rested, he secretly practiced taking engines apart and putting them back together. He was determined to understand every single piece of a machine. Little by little, the owner noticed his passion and dedication. Soon, Soichiro was trusted to repair engines himself. Every successful repair made him more confident that he was following the right path. Although he earned very little money, he felt richer than ever because every day he was learning something new. He believed that knowledge was more valuable than money. Years later, Soichiro returned to his hometown and opened his own repair shop. It was the first step toward a dream that seemed impossible for a poor village boy. However, his greatest challenges had not even begun. Part 2. Failure after failure. Soichiro Honda dreamed of creating something greater than repairing cars. He wanted to manufacture engine parts that could compete with the best companies in Japan. Using all the money he had saved, he started a small factory to produce piston rings. He worked day and night, believing his products would soon be accepted by major automobile companies. Confident in his work, he brought his piston rings to Toyota. He hoped they would become his first big customer. But the answer was heartbreaking. Toyota rejected his products because the quality was not good enough. The piston rings failed to meet their strict standards. Many people would have accepted defeat. Some of his friends even told him to give up and return to repairing cars. Instead of quitting, Soichiro admitted that he still had much to learn. He returned to school and spent months studying engineering, metallurgy, and manufacturing techniques. Every mistake became a lesson instead of an excuse. After countless experiments, failed prototypes, and sleepless nights, he finally created piston rings that met Toyota's high standards. Just as success seemed within reach, another disaster struck. During World War II, much of his factory was destroyed by bombing. Years of hard work disappeared in a single moment. Most business owners would have lost hope, but Soichiro refused to surrender. He gathered the remaining materials and rebuilt what he could. He believed that as long as he was alive, he could always start again. Then nature dealt him another cruel blow. A powerful earthquake destroyed what was left of his factory. Once again, everything collapsed. With almost nothing remaining, Soichiro sold the damaged factory and began searching for a completely new opportunity. Many people believed his dream was over forever. They had no idea that his greatest achievement was still waiting just around the corner. Part 3. The birth of Honda. After selling his destroyed factory, Soichiro Honda found himself standing at another crossroads. He had lost his business, his equipment, and nearly all of his savings. Japan was also in ruins after World War II. Factories had been destroyed. Fuel was scarce, and millions of people struggled just to survive. For many, this was the end of a dream. But for Soichiro, it was the beginning of a new one. Every morning, he watched people walking long distances because there was almost no gasoline for cars, trains were overcrowded, buses were unreliable, and bicycles became the most important form of transportation. As he observed the situation, he asked himself a simple question: what if bicycles could have engines? The idea sounded strange at first, but Soichiro believed it could change people's lives. He searched everywhere for small surplus engines that had been left behind after the war. They were originally designed for military equipment, but he believed they could be given a new purpose. Inside a small workshop, he and a few helpers began attaching these tiny engines to ordinary bicycles. The first models were far from perfect. Some were noisy. Some vibrated so much that riders complained. Others stopped working after only a short distance. Still, every complaint became valuable feedback. Instead of blaming customers, Soichiro carefully listened to every problem. He would return to his workshop, improve the design, and test it again, day after day, week after week, month after month. Gradually, the bicycles became faster, smoother, and more reliable. People who had once walked for hours could now travel much farther in a fraction of the time. Word spread quickly. Neighbors recommended the motorized bicycles to friends. Friends recommended them to relatives. Soon, people from different towns wanted to buy them. Demand became much greater than Soichiro had ever expected. Realizing that this small invention had enormous potential, Soichiro knew he needed a real company, not just a workshop. In 1948, together with his business partner, Takeo Fujisawa, he founded the Honda Motor Co., Ltd. The partnership was extraordinary. Soichiro was the engineer with endless ideas and relentless curiosity. Fujisawa was the businessman who understood finance, sales, and long-term strategy. Together, they complemented each other perfectly. Soon, Honda developed its own motorcycle instead of simply attaching engines to bicycles. The company focused on three simple principles: quality, innovation, and affordability. Every motorcycle was tested repeatedly before reaching customers. If something could be improved, Soichiro insisted on improving it. He often walked through the factory floor, talking directly with engineers and workers. He believed that no one should ever stop learning, not even the company's founder. Whenever someone said, "This is good enough," Soichiro would smile and ask, "Can we make it even better?" That mindset became part of Honda's culture. Within just a few years, Honda motorcycles were becoming famous across Japan. People admired them because they were dependable, efficient, and easy to ride. The company was finally growing, but Soichiro's ambition stretched far beyond the borders of Japan. He dreamed of competing with the biggest motorcycle manufacturers in the world. Many experts laughed at the idea. They believed a small Japanese company could never challenge established global brands. Once again, Soichiro Honda prepared to prove everyone wrong. Part 4. Conquering the World. By the early 1950s, Honda had become one of Japan's fastest-growing motorcycle companies. Sales continued to rise, and more people trusted the Honda name, but Soichiro Honda refused to be satisfied with success at home. He had a much bigger dream. He wanted Honda to become the best motorcycle manufacturer in the world. Many people thought he was being unrealistic. At that time, European companies dominated the motorcycle industry. Brands from Britain and Italy were respected everywhere, while Japanese motorcycles were often considered cheap and unreliable. Friends warned him not to take such a huge risk. Competitors believed Honda was too small. Experts said it would take decades if it happened at all. Soichiro listened to every opinion. Then he quietly continued working. He believed that confidence should come from preparation, not from words. To prove Honda's quality, he entered motorcycle races. Some people questioned the decision. Racing was dangerous, expensive, and failure would damage the company's reputation. But Soichiro saw racing as the ultimate test. If our motorcycles can survive the toughest races, he often believed, they can survive everyday roads. The first attempts were disappointing. Honda's motorcycles were not fast enough. Some engines overheated. Some machines broke down before reaching the finish line. The losses were painful. Yet every defeat gave Honda valuable information. Engineers carefully studied every broken part. They redesigned engines. They reduced weight. They improved reliability. Every race made Honda stronger. Finally, years of hard work paid off. Honda motorcycles began winning international competitions, including the famous Isle of Man TT, one of the most difficult motorcycle races in the world. The victories shocked the global motorcycle industry. People who had once ignored Honda suddenly wanted to know more. Dealers from different countries started placing orders. Customers realized that Honda motorcycles were not only affordable but also powerful and dependable. Soon, Honda expanded into the United States. The company launched a simple message that changed public opinion forever. You meet the nicest people on a Honda. The campaign showed that motorcycles were not just for rebels or racers. They were for students, workers, parents, and ordinary people. Sales exploded. Honda quickly became one of the largest motorcycle manufacturers in the world. The company that had started in a tiny workshop after years of failure was now respected across the globe. But Soichiro Honda was still dreaming even bigger. If Honda could build the world's best motorcycles, why couldn't it build great cars as well? Part 5. Building cars and leaving a legacy. After conquering the motorcycle industry, many people expected Soichiro Honda to slow down and enjoy his success. Instead, he set an even greater challenge. He wanted Honda to become a world-class automobile manufacturer. People doubted him once again. Building motorcycles was one thing. Building reliable cars that could compete with giants like Toyota, Nissan, and major American companies was something entirely different. Some experts predicted Honda would fail. Others believed the company should stay focused on motorcycles. But Soichiro had never allowed other people's opinions to decide his future. He encouraged his engineers to think differently. Mistakes were not punished if they came from honest effort. He often reminded his team that every failure contained valuable lessons. His famous belief was simple: success is 99% failure. That philosophy became the heart of Honda's culture. In the 1960s, Honda officially entered the automobile market. The company's first cars faced many challenges. Engineers worked tirelessly to improve performance, fuel efficiency, and safety. Instead of copying competitors, Honda focused on innovation. As the years passed, Honda introduced cars that were reliable, economical, and enjoyable to drive. Drivers appreciated their quality. Families trusted them. Soon, Honda cars were being sold not only in Japan but across North America, Europe, Asia, and many other parts of the world. Then came another major challenge. During the 1970s oil crisis, fuel prices rose dramatically around the world. Many large cars consumed too much gasoline, and customers began searching for more efficient vehicles. Fortunately, Honda had already invested in fuel-efficient engine technology. Its small, economical cars became extremely popular. What looked like a crisis for many companies became a huge opportunity for Honda. The company continued to grow year after year. Factories were built in different countries. Millions of motorcycles and cars carried the Honda logo. The dream of a poor boy from a small Japanese village had become a global reality. Even after stepping away from daily management, Soichiro Honda never stopped visiting factories. He enjoyed talking directly with workers and engineers. He believed that every employee, no matter their position, deserved respect. He also believed that curiosity should never disappear. Until the end of his life, he remained fascinated by engines, technology, and new ideas. When Soichiro Honda passed away in 1991, he left behind much more than a successful company.